We're assuming that is going to be a solid position 5. I mean, there has been a few times in the past where people have tried to run the Silencer as a core, but with varied success. So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to see that's the 5. Dark Widow will be the 4, and going to be shoving this Tusk into a mid lane. But, I mean, well, actually, if they do put the Tusk mid versus the Bat Rider, how does that matchup actually pan out? I feel like that's going to be Bat favored.
I agree with you. I think it's Bat favored as well. I mean, oh my god, look at with the picks are coming out real quick.
Flying through.
But I will say something though. What XERXIA has done has completely made sure that the Bat Rider is going to go mid, right? Because there's no way you're going to put Bat Rider against Slark and Silencer. There's just no reason to ever do that. So Bat Rider is going to go mid. XERXIA, they might consider swapping. Put the Tusk off lane, pick something else in the mid lane here against the Bat Rider, because like we were saying, Bat Rider against Tusk, you're gonna be very comfortable. So I don't. I feel like XERXIA might want to try something else. Might want to try to find some way to move the Tusk, pick another mid laner. The options though are a bit tough. We've seen that the Queen of Pain has already been removed. She's often the best counter to the Bat Rider in the mid lane, just because Shadow Strike and Blink are super good. Death Prophet is another decent counter, but they've already banned it. So XERXIA, yeah, I really think they want to put the Tusk off lane, but if you put mid, it just feels like it's going to be a very tough time for him.
Yeah, that's very true. Oh, right, this could sound wacky, right? But because XERXIA are so far ahead and they feel quite comfortable, do you think they might actually even try putting the Slug versus the Bat Rider? Because obviously with the Dark Pact, you can purge away all of the sticky Napalm stacks, and that really would ruin the Bat Rider's time.
Yes.
It sounds weird, but I mean, when they're in this position, they could try it.
No, it's not weird at all. It's not weird at all because I've seen it happen. I've seen people go and put the Legion Commander mid as well, just for that exact thing that you're mentioning, right? Like, so what if he puts a bunch of stacks on me? I literally don't care. Like, we might see XERXIA last pick a Life Stealer or something like that, and just put Slark in the mid. So I think that's a really reasonable option. And it's not like it's bad against the other people, right? All the Lich's slows, Rubik Lift, Brewmaster's Tornado, you can remove it as well if you have that. So I wouldn't mind that at all. I do think it's something that JG, it's not something you can do like off the fly, like, oh my god, I'm playing mid and you pick Slark for the first time. It's like something you have to practice a little bit.
Yeah.
So JG might not be perfectly comfortable, but if he is, then yeah, it's a very valid option for sure.
Yeah, it's true. But we will see. We've seen it before in TI with like OG. They just pick heroes that, people have never played before. Like, you'll be fine. Just go for it, roll with it. We'll see how it ends up. And it panned out for them. So, yeah, it could very well be the same situation here for XERXIA. But moving on to the final picks now. Neon Esports obviously got the first pick here. But they got absolute ton of reserve time to work with. So they can give this a real thought. But they don't care about reserve time. They go for a punch.
Oh. The Budka. All right, Pudge Lich, very powerful lane. Extremely, like, I worried a lot for whoever goes up against it. Like, Dark Willow is going to suffer almost regardless. And if Tusk goes, Tusk maybe can do a little bit better because if you get hooked, you can just snowball to the creeps and you'll be fine. But it's very tough. Like, top lane, the safe lane for Neon is going Pudge favored. It's like I'm all in on the Pudge Lich. I think no matter what XERXIA throws, is going to have a hard time. So
I think that
not bad.
That still sets up for XERXIA to maybe go for the Lifestealer pick, right? Because I think later on, Lifestealer does well versus the Pudge. You get a lot of steal coming out from the passive ability, as well as obviously Rage just avoiding the entirety of Pudge's AoE damage. So, yeah, I think that's still a definite possibility here for XERXIA.
I think it too. Although I feel like XERXIA will have some damage issues. You are going to be, Slark, Lifestealer. These guys take their time to ramp up the damage. You could put an Ursa instead and, like that'll be I feel like that's a little bit better than the Lifestealer. He also has his own ability, own way of removing the Bat Rider stacks with his ultimate. So I think both are valid options though. We'll see if they want to go for it. And I like how we've confirmed that we're like, yeah, Slark's mid. They're going to pick carriers, right? We're like, Ursa, Lifestealer. They already have a Slark here.
I want to see it, man. That's why I just want to see it. It's a good way to start, a fresh day. Go with a Slark mid. What better intro is there? So 5
Come on,
seconds.
Legion Commander. Oh, they go for Ember.
Okay, I think that's a much safer mid laner to go with. They're not trying to break the meta there.
But that's kind of interesting that they go with the Ember Spirit mid. I mean, He's not a hero who does fantastically against the Batrider. I've sometimes seen like the Batrider would just zone him all the way back to the tier 2 every time the lane pushes. So that is very bold of XERXIA that they're going for this JG Ember Spirit. I feel like 2 lanes already go in favor of Neon, honestly. The bottom lane and the mid. Top lane is going to be the one where it's Brewmaster Rubik against Dark Willow. I feel like that's okay for XERXIA. They can win that one, but yeah, I don't know. I think XERXIA they obviously drafted themselves into this. They knew they were going to put Ember against the Ken's Batrider. Very risky. We'll see what they can do with it.
Yeah, I think their draft is going to be quite dependent on how well Jar Jar can get that global silence off. If he's just like a second too late in a lot of situations, like the Brewmaster manages to get their ult off or something, that would like completely flick the fights around. But if XERXIA can, get that global off, make sure they get a pick off onto the Batrider or the Brewmaster before they can use their ults, I could definitely see them taking it. But if that's not the case, as you were saying, the lanes are quite Neon favored, and that could just allow them to completely snowball in this game and run away with it.
Oh, Carmine, look, I mean, he got 15 and 6 in his last lock appearance. I got faith in him. You know, he's the one where I'm looking at him and thinking he's probably going to be able to have a good time here. If we go ultra late game, both lineups aren't exactly the best scaling ultra late game lineups, to be frank with you. It's like Pudge and Slark both do decent damage, but it's not that damage where you're like, yeah, these guys can match up against like a Lina or Ursa or a Troll. They're just like good carries. It's Batrider versus Ember, great control versus decent spread damage and control. Brewmaster versus Tusk. These 2 heroes often they're not very scaling heavy. The supports, it's what? Silencer, Dark Willow, Rubik. It's nothing amazing, you know what I mean? So I do think it's just going to come down to who has a good laning stage, because after that you can just snowball yourself to victory, and that's going to be it basically. Even do you look at it? Neither team has tower damage.
No, yeah.
And one of them's got one has a Lich, and the other, both teams just have no tower damage at all.
This game will just be decided by team fights. No, there's not going to be any rat-in. There's not going to be any like major split push going on. It's just going to be clashing of the 5 versus 5. Whoever the hell comes out on top will probably be able to start taking the lead in this game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those fights end up panning out. One thing I want to mention as well is that we have infinite scaling on both strength, agility, and intelligence. For the Slark with the Agi gain, Silencer, infinite intelligence, Pudge, infinite strength. Like, which stat is going to come out on top? That is the question.
That's why I wanted the Legion Commander, right? More infinite scaling with with damage, but they're like, no, we're not gonna do that. So a little unfortunate to see that. But XERXIA, just going top lane here. I don't think they're gonna be running into Enryu. I think he's trying to break a smoke. They ping him out, so they know he's there. Thunderclap. Interesting to see the Brewmaster. This hero hasn't really. He's not exactly incredible initiation, like something like a Tidehunter or Enigma. Nor does he go for auras like the Broodmother or like the Snapfire that we see. So he's kind of in the middle, and that's why I think he's sort of lost his not lost his identity. He's lost his position as one of the best offlaners. Right? Teams are still figuring out exactly how to play this guy.
Yeah, so we definitely do not see him as much as we once did a few patches ago. I mean, it was pretty much just the relentless go for the Aghanim Scepter straight into the Refresher Orb spam, and that was just how everyone built Brewmaster, because, hey, it got his job. He just had 100% uptime with your ultimate, and he was just constantly running around as the Brewlings. But as a result, the patches change, meta changes, heroes drop off, others end up rising. So you never know, IceFrog might decide to change things around for the Brew. We might start seeing him again more in the future. But only time will tell there.
I like the ultimate, the way the new Aghanim Scepter, right? The double charges was just like, come on, man. Although, have you ever hovered over a spell and you see its description? It's like literally a novel. It's like, my God, I've got to read so much just to understand this spell. Yeah. If you haven't been keeping up, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, you hover over the Aghanim's part for the Brew, and yeah, like the box literally goes nearly to the top of my screen. Just the entire damn screen taken up from chat boxes.
Yeah, then you go on something like, like Silencer or something. You're just like, oh, last word becomes AoE, and you're like, that's it. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. So it looks like this top lane already for Xerxia is going not bad. Karma and Jar Jar trading quite well at the moment. I say that and Karma takes a few spells to the face. It's quick burst damage, but you know, as long as we keep trying to trade off those right clicks, build up those essence shifts, and might be able to start having a pretty nice time. I mean, Jar Jar's just right clicks alone from the position 5 silence are just so damn painful to deal with. And yeah, that's the benefit of going Glaives of Wisdom level 1.
Yeah, 13 hits on Enryu. You know, look how he's got 13 intelligence stolen, and yeah, every time Karma or Jar Jar hit him, you lose a lot more, you know, than you usually would. You lose stats, and besides of course taking damage. He's down to 1 Tango and Enryu, and Tsukimoto's he's got 2. You might have to give him some, but awkward. Oh, Jar Jar though, he might be a little too forward here.
They're picking on trying to go for him. Yeah, they changed their mind.
He's fine. Mid lane though, check out Ken's life. He's barely got any. Looks like JG, he knows how to play this matchup. He's been harassing him really well.
Yeah, it looks like he has actually. I was quite surprised by that. I mean, I suppose now the Bat Rider's level 3, 2 points into the Napalm, we might start seeing the power dynamic shift in this lane. But I don't know, maybe if JG, yeah, like you're saying, just knows how to play this matchup really well, can just completely counter out the Bat. Only time will tell. But I mean, even in terms of CS, Ken is slightly ahead. I mean, it depends if JG gets both of these last hits, which he does, and yeah, it's actually pretty even.
Do you question the pros if he's going to get the lag? Come on.
I've seen it many a time before where they miss some CS under tower, but I'm sure that's not because they don't know how to last it. It's probably because they're looking somewhere else on their screen and they're like, you know, a little bit distracted because there's a lot of stuff you have to think about when you're in pro level though. You can't just tunnel vision on creeps. That can just get you killed more times than not.
To be fair, JG just
bottom hated, gets trapped inside the shards, gonna take a bit of a beating here in the brambles as well. And it looks like this will be first blood. Gets picked up there from Bombi. The frost shield that came out denied the first blood there for the Tusk. So yeah, you know, Neon, he could take that as a slight victory there, hated. The fact that he didn't give it towards the core.
Yeah, it's still a death though, and not exactly what you want to give. And Dark Willow is a hero who could, you know, she could use some items, right? She's a hero that later on can do a ton of damage. So having her getting a little bit of level and gold advantage is really helpful. Fortune Soul, he's got the hook, but well, he has to use the magic stick, and he decides not to go for it, playing it safe. Meanwhile, top lane Enryu. Oh,
and the
so
mid lane
close.
as well. Ken running down JG underneath the tier 1 tower. They're both really low. Oh, Ken just able to get the kill before he ends up dropping there to the tower. So gets the experience for getting the kill on towards the Ember. Ooh, buyback. He just did not want to lose out on these creeps. Just able to claim that range creep in time. If he missed that creep, that buyback would have been completely like just a massive failure. He's just what's the Pudge's Courier doing here?
Oh.
Oh no, Fortune Soul, he dies at the bot and he loses his courier in the mid lane that had a ring of health. That's very unfortunate micro for him. That's costly.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was like, oh, okay, Ember's dead. He's not going to be able to get... But, you know, the buyback comes out. You kind of have a chance to do something there. But overall, very, very bad situation for Fortune Soul just now.
It looks like up top, yeah, Tsukimo dropping as well. The infinite scaling of this Slark Silencer lane is started to ramp up. 2 permanent intelligence there for Jar Jar, 1 permanent agi for Karma. This is going to start getting real nasty if they let these stats build up.
Yeah, and Rubik's definitely a hero who wants his intelligence. Oh, he comes back, you have 2 intelligence stolen. It feels bad. That's, I think, one of the most fun things about playing Silencer is that you know you're making someone else miserable. Let's be honest, that's why we play Dota, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
There's a sum total of happiness in Dota, and as you get happier, someone else has to be more miserable. And Silencer's just perfect for that.
That is very true, especially if like you're getting kills against a hero like Bristleback, someone who already has a terrible mana pool, and then you just make it worse. And yeah, it just feels like sometimes people just go AFK at the start of the game. They're like, oh, I'm done. I can't be asked for this. This is horrible.
In terms of net worth, go. Yeah, in terms of net worth, Slark is doing really well. So is Rapido, and this is very important for Rapido's Tusk because this is a hero that we've seen time and time again. Either you have a really good... mid lane.
Yeah, they're diving it. They got the flame, and that's already picked up. Can JG get himself out of this? Use
they die back.
Trying to get alive as much as possible. He is gone. Unfortunately, the support's coming in from Xerxia just a little bit too late. So they try to get a return kill on towards the Bat. May have to settle for Hated if they can get the final right click. Stick usage.
Oh, it misses.
Hated is out of there. It's a very nice play from Neon. Like you said, that is a dieback technically, so JG is gone for absolute ages. And that is going to be massive to change the dynamic here in the mid lane. I mean, we already see Ken 600 gold ahead, and as a result, he might pretty much be level 7 as well by the time the Ember gets back here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Like he's gonna hit 7 before the Ember hits 6 at the very least. And yeah, he's just gonna be pulling those creeps away. Is he trying to get them to die to the tower? Seems unlikely. So I do think that by the time GG comes back, he's gonna have this nice creep wave waiting for him. And you can even see Jaja. He's like, yeah, I'm making sure that they don't get the tower. You don't lose a single one, buddy. But JG's gonna need them, right? Like he is losing mid by a lot. And I'm going to go back to the draft, and it was very bold of them to pick this Ember into the Bat Rider.
Definitely was. Down bottom as well. Looks like Rapido is in real danger. Oh, nice shard usage. Needs to try and avoid the hook. And fortunately enough for him, there was actually one melee creep inside the shards, blocking it out. Meanwhile, the top lane end up bringing down Enryu.
Karma he got a few hits off on him, and then we could see the Dark Willow come out. He was caught by the Bramble Maze, couldn't go back, couldn't go forward. Unfortunately, loses his life. So XERXIA, yeah, they're losing mid, which we kind of expected, but top and bottom have been going really well overall.
Yeah, it definitely has. Yeah, we're not really paying much attention to the bot lane right now, but Fortune Soul, he's got a Hooded Defiance up now, but I think he could have been having a better time if he started off his padded mangoes. Oh, in mid, Ken. He's trying to get away. There is going to be the ice shield. That it does actually bring up a little bit, but it doesn't matter. JG keeping chase. He gets pulled back with the telekinesis, but still able to bring down the Bat Rider. Can they also get the +2 onto the supports? Hey, it looks like he will die for sure. Tsukimo, though, manages to get himself away, and some more permanent intelligence there for Jaja.
And then, yep. +4. I mean, he didn't get the kill on Ken, unfortunately for him, but he's still going to be very happy. Top lane, Enryu is taking a lot of hits, and he's forced to use the ultimate. And oh my, Karma? He's also forced to use ultimate just to get away. Is he going to be fine?
I think Enryu think about die with the 2-1 tower. These Broodlings actually hurt quite a lot. Karma, he's trapped himself in the trees, does manage to get the leap away, but doesn't matter. The Broodlings will keep chase, but about to run out. And they will be forced now to turn around, but JG and Bombi, they are here to get the wraparound. Enryu is going to get caught inside the brambles, trying to juke himself away, but it's just not enough, and he will fall. Another death there for the Brewmaster, and an extra +1 agi for Karma.
Yeah, and now we can see that Enryu is lowest in terms of net worth. This is really unfortunate. Rapido, his counterpart, I think he's getting close to the mech. He also goes for straight up Guardian Greaves, which will really help you in those mid-game team fights, which, as we said, neither side is a really ultra late game draft. Both of them will probably want to try to win, to have a big map advantage by, obviously, as soon as possible. But by 30 minutes, you want to have control of the map. And the Guardian Greaves on Tusk early on will go a long way to giving you that. Whereas Brewmaster, he doesn't really want to build that.
No, that he does not. So it's already going pretty damn nicely for XERXIA. 2,000 gold advantage. And it looks like they're just constantly making sure they're providing support for JG now, right? There's always going to be support sat behind this Ember because they know he's had a rough time. And they really want to try and recover as much as possible. Even Bombi, up on the high ground here of the triangle area, maybe think they want to try and go for a dive as Rapido also making a rotation. So a lot of numbers here for XERXIA. Seeing if they can catch someone out. But Hated, I think he spotted the rotation from his own high ground. Just both teams trying to keep tabs on each other right now. Again, the Raptors.
9 heroes mid.
Spot out Enryu. TP also coming in from the Bat Rider, but can they burst down the Brewmaster? He still doesn't have his ult with another 30 seconds. He's probably going to die as a result of that. Jaja trying to get the right clicks, needs one more. The nice pullback from Fortune Soul, trying to get the kill onto the Silencer, but they still lose the Bat. But at the same time, Ken is able to bring down Rapido, so it's a 2-for-1 exchange in the favor of Neon. And it looks like Bombi will manage to get himself out at least. But regardless, it's a nice response there coming out from Neon Esports. Of course, that was a lot of rotations they had to commit, but they did come out on top. Oh, nice little deny of the illusion in there from Bombi.
A little bit unfortunate for XERXIA though, because at the same time that they started the rotation, JG had no mana, so he had to go back to base to heal up. He left the remnant, but wasn't able to fight. And Karma, is he gonna be alright? TP's out. Oh, last second.
That was
not enough.
So close. They even just commit the Brewmaster ultimate just to secure the kill. JG is here, wants to get a retaliation kill onto Hated. Might be able to find it, but nice usage out of the Cyclone from Enryu to hold him in place. Are they going to try and push for more right now? Looks like they will. He's got no fire remnants to work with. Oh, actually, no, he did. He managed to zip away.
He's like, he didn't have any to cast. Right?
Yeah, no.
Like, they didn't have any. They already had a bunch on the ground, but Okay, Neon, they're getting a couple of good kills, killing Karma just now. They got the fight in the mid lane also went in favor of them, even though Jaja was able to get a kill on Ken. It's like you still trade 2 for 1, so I'm not gonna say Titans alive because Neon is fairly even. What's the percentage saying? It's actually only 33% for Neon. I think that seems a bit mean. That seems a bit low. Wouldn't you agree? It does feel like maybe it's like 45 to 55. I don't feel like it's that low for Neon right now.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever changed the algorithm to factor in carry Pudge now. I think every single time, like, the algorithm still thinks it's a mid Pudge with a mid Bat Rider and a mid Brewmaster. So it's like, do Neon actually have a carry here? But obviously, Gaben doesn't actually know what we know. So yeah, I think it is. I think it's more closer to like a 50-50 chance still at this point in the game, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
there's still so much that can happen to really change the dynamic of this one right now. And I mean, already the net worth lead that was starting to build up there for XERXIA has been brought down to relatively even standing. But still, it is the Slark there at the top of the net worth, just happily able to do whatever he wants. But Fortune Soul isn't that far behind him, only 400 gold.
Yeah, but I thought he might be able to actually outfarm him, but the laning stage, I guess, was a tiny bit better for Karma because he was able to get killed. Oh, we got a fight! Rumble in the jungle.
Nice shackle, the land the area as well from the Jaja here. Out comes the Chain Frost, just bounces around to the neutrals. Hate will still die, unfortunately, Soul not able to get close enough with the ultimate. Does he land the hook here onto Jaja? That is a definite for sure. Well, actually, maybe Ken might get brought down here. The Global Silence is going to give JG the opportunity to do so, but doesn't quite want to fully commit. Instead, Fortune Soul is now stuck here in this position, but regardless, just no mana to work with here for the two members of XERXIA.
Right now, XERXIA has a problem. They really can't kill the Pudge, right? Like, Pudge shows up and he's like Ember, Spirit, Toss. Like, these guys do damage and maybe they can kill him down, bring him down, but it's going to take them a while. It's not going to be an easy kill to bring down Fortune Soul until Karma gets involved in these fights. At that point, Pudge is in trouble. Until then, feels like he's just going to have a decent time. Overall, 1-for-1 trade, tiny bit of an advantage for XERXIA. Although Enryu, I'm still getting concerned about that. His net worth isn't that bad, but you want Bruce Master to be doing stuff right now. Luckily, he's a more level dependent than a gold dependent hero.
Yeah, that is for sure. And level 8, not doing too badly so far. Looks like they're going to be able to bring down this tier 1 tower as well. Not really going to be any point for XERXIA to bring heroes to defend this one. Enryu, just got his plate mail delivered as well.
Barrett is going for a boots of travel, so he's going to be able to show up anywhere on the map to help his team out. I like this choice a lot. And I was thinking, if you're Rubik, what do you really want to steal this game? Is it like an amazing spell? I feel like a lot of the spells are pretty decent, but there's nothing like, wow, we got it. I feel like Dark Willow spells are generally very good, especially the Bramble Maze. Ice Shards is nice.
If somehow you could steal Global Silence, that'd be great, but that is like the hardest skill in the entire game to steal. Like, I think it really relies on the Silence to mess it up more than the Rubik doing something amazing to get that ability. But actually, down at the bottom, they do mention bring down the tier 1 tower. Karma's in some danger though, as Tsukimo is there to get the grab. And Karma overstaying his welcome by way too much. He does get punished hard.
Tsukimo played that perfectly, by the way. He stood right in front of that tree, that small gap. So if Karma tries to jump over or tries to walk out, he's always going to land next to the Rubik. So very nice positioning by him. And oh yeah, by the way, I've seen people steal Global Silence when they get Lotus Orb. Then the Global Silence comes out, you just Lotus Orb yourself and immediately steal it from the Silencer. It's not like that. Yule Scepter, you have to be in the air. Guardian Greaves, it's too expensive. But a Lotus Orb on the Rubik, or even if an ally just puts it on, it's good enough.
But that is actually what Tsukimo has queued up. He is actually going for those Guardian Greaves. So, like you said, it is expensive. So it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get there. But we might actually see a Global Silence still in this game. Eventually.
Right, it's like it's possible. I would mind.
JG is getting Goller right now. There's going to be a Global Silence to make the space, and JG's trying to get away with that rim. But yeah, it's so slow, but still, he might actually be able to make it out, and he does. Return comes in from XERXIA, and they do punish Ken. And there is the power of that Global Silence, saving JG's life so hard.
And giving it, there's a little bit more intelligence coming out for Jaja again, who is going to go straight up for the Force Staff. Love that on the Silencer. I'm not a big fan of the Veil of Discord build. Just go for the Force Staff. You can cut your distance away from the Bat Rider, from the Pudge. Mid lane though, they're going for more.
Low sword bounces out onto the snowball. They get the connection onto JG and just burst down the Embers before we can do anything about it. Bombi's trying to get the shoulder hated. Will bring down the Lich, but he's just stuck amongst so many members of Neon, and that's going to be a +1 strength there for Fortune. So can they also get Jar Jar going for TP out? And Kent, realizing there's no way to stop it, just flies on by and starts hitting creeps.
Fortune Soul shows up, and there's a big stack he's going to go for in the Ancients. He's going to try and stack it one more time for himself. I think he's going to get that stack off. And with that, I think he'll be able to finish his Aghanim Scepter once he farms up all these creeps. He only needs 600 gold. And then you're looking at the Slark, and you're like, you're not going to be able to regenerate much at all once that happens.
Yeah, it's going to be a nasty amount of AoE damage for Karma to try and deal with for sure. I mean, it takes a bit of time as well for a Slark to actually get relatively tanky as well. He's a squishy hero for a majority of the game. Only 1400 HP at this point. I mean, sure, he could have a little bit more if he puts his treads onto strength, but that's not really going to make much difference to the end scheme. I do like the idea of going for the Mage Slayer. That will help tremendously at keeping both himself and his teammate alive versus that Pudge. And he's going to have it relatively soon as well. It's not an expensive item to get.
Actually, when you think about it, wouldn't a pipe is amazing for XERXIA this game? Because you look at Neon and you're like, you guys have no physical damage. It's all magic, like 100% magical damage. And when you have that, you can just build, a pipe goes so long, goes really well. You can even get a Helm of Overlord, eat a big, it's one of those small centaurs. It just feels like Neon's gonna have damage issues at some point or another. Of course, BKB is the best item to have in such situations. Mage Slayer, like you're saying, is going to go a long way to that. And maybe Wraith Pack? Wraith Pack is... I heard that item is amazing at reducing damage and then got nerfed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, top lane.
Ooh, what a hook does land. Still able to get the jump off with the Remnant, but Remnant's actually stolen away there for Tsukimoto. No escape from Jay. Oh, he does manage to jump off the side with the Global Silence. He doesn't actually survive through it, though. Still gets brought down. He made him work for it a little bit more, but... regardless, that's still another kill there onto the enemy mid laner, who is actually now the least farmed core in the entire game.
Bit wild to see for the Ember Spirit, but he's got the Maelstrom and he's got the Orb of Corrosion. He's trying to make space for his carry, and it is working, alright? Like, Karma is getting a lot of farm. And if you go later, I was thinking, man, both these teams want to go mid-game and try to end there, but if you go later on, I do feel like XERXIA is the one who's going to take it. Just the damage issues from Neon will show themselves eventually, and there is a pipe going to come out on Rapido. So, yeah, I'm worried for Neon, man. I'm really worried.
Yeah, this is it's already looking a little bit bleak for him, but hey, things can still come out and surprise us. It all depends on how these next fights go. Looks like they tried to go on Tsukimoto there, but still with those fire remnants able to evade danger. But yeah, it definitely feels like Neon needs to start making some more things happen at this stage in the game. Like, I feel like they need more pickoffs than they currently have. The gold chart as well is pretty much on 0. This like less than 1k keeps bouncing between the two of them. So in terms of that, it feels even, but yeah, definitely need to start applying more pressure to this Slark.
I agree. It's like one of those things where it's like right now the game is not in a bad state, right? Like it looks fairly well. It's not it's not like Neon has no chance. But as we go later on, you start getting a little bit worried for Neon, thinking that your draft is just not designed to go late game. Tsukimoto is in trouble. He has Remnant available. Can he jump to it in time? Nope.
One punch to the face. That's what happens. That's what happens when Saitama comes at you. Just smashes you in the face and down you go. Looks like,
Did you watch both seasons of One Punch Man? People say the second one's not as good, and I was wondering if you agreed with that.
Well, I mean, that's just the case with most shows, isn't it? The second season never is good. But we will talk about that. Fortune Soul has been caught out. He's a tanky boy, though. Can he survive long enough for the rest of his team to bring the assistance? He's still on half HP. Out comes the ultimate. Does get cancelled relatively quickly right now. Ken is also able to BKB activated, but it doesn't matter. The Pudge will still fall eventually. Can there be some sort of retaliation kills here from Neon? Ken's trying to get on someone, anyone they can. They're going to have to settle for the position 3 Tusk, but even still, he doesn't immediately get brought down. And now another counterplay potentially coming in from XERXIA. Focus on towards the Lich. Finally, they do manage to bring down the Tusk, tornadoing up the Slark as well. He wasn't able to purge it off in time, but here is JG jumping on towards the Bat Rider with the help of Karma.
Jesus.
Down goes the Bat Rider. XERXIA are just perfectly playing this fight right now. It looks like they might lose Jaja. Long last, he will drop there. The Brewmaster finally able to get that kill, but now he's in a 1 versus 3 situation. There is actually Tsukimoto here. Can he make any difference at all? Still Sleight of Fist. That is not the spell he wanted at all. And Enryu's dead, and Tsukimoto will be the 5th and final casualty there for Neon. Everyone dying, and XERXIA only losing 2.
Karma had 51 Essence Shift stacks in that fight. Half of them were just from Fortune Soul. He's like, all right, Fortune Soul, I'm going to be hitting you for the next 10 seconds. And that's what he did. Just goes on him, hits him, takes 25 of his stats. And that's when they were able to kill the Putch. And this cannot happen too many times for Neon, right? Like, this is your time for the draft to really get online. You got the Agam Scepter on the Pudge. His damage is not going to increase by much. You know, he's damage capped at this point. Same thing with the Bat Rider. His damage is not going to get higher, so you need to be very careful. You don't lose another fight.
Yeah, well, it was literally just Fortune Soul getting caught with his pants down there. He was just farming up, gets ganked, and he did last a really, really long time. He was able to tank through a lot, obviously, with the help of the Flesh Heap activation. But yeah, just the support came in a little bit too late, and he couldn't actually weather the storm fully. And that's exactly what XERXIA needed to help try and, start building a dominant lead in this game. Might get a hook, nice hook onto JG. Ooh, unfortunately for him, the hook not actually long enough to get the reach.
Dire's bottom tower is
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, right? How do you actually control the Ember and the Slark? I don't know if you have enough lockdown for it. And Ryu, is he going to be trouble? He doesn't have his ultimate for 10 seconds.
This is a DD on Karma as well. Global Silence going to make sure the Flame and Lasso doesn't come out. Also, the Chain Frost getting cancelled. Not enough targets. Nice Langela, though, with the Bramble Maze. Jaja stepping forward. His position 5 Silencer, feeling pretty damn strong. Able to force staff away. But Neon looking like they're going to try and chase. They will get the hook land, pull him back into die. Maybe want to try and go onto the Dark Willow as well, but I mean, are they going to try and commit right now? Stealing the spell, manages to get the Dark Realm, the Shadow Realm, whatever the hell it's called, Shadow Realm. But regardless,
Shadow Realm, yeah.
Out of all of that, just the support silence to die, but Global Silence was used, the Split was used there from the Brew as well, Chain Frost gone. So, quite a lot expended from both teams, and not a lot happened.
No, not at all. And the biggest deal though is Enryu's ultimate going down, right? Like we see Primal Split's got a long cooldown. He doesn't have like any way of reducing it yet. He was going to go for the blood, not the bloodstone, the Eighth Lance upgrade after that just to reduce it. But overall, right now, it's not a comfortable situation here. And XERXIA has the better lineup to bring down Roche just because you have the Tusk. If you look at Neon. No, it's a bit tough for them to bring down Roshan. So even if they win a fight, they have to win very convincingly because they need their time.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a objective that's going to be sat there for a while, I feel. I've just seen Enryu as well pick up his Ag Scepter now, so he's going to have that little Storm Panda running around, getting information, spotting people out, and potentially setting up kills there with the Cyclone. And they are now going for a 4-man smoke. Going to charge into in jungle, and Rapido is going to be there to actually break it onto the Panda. And looks like he will be getting brought down right now. And everyone is here to just destroy this Tusk.
I gotta say, the Storm Panda having a Dispel Magic could be really big because you can use it. Rapido's dead, by the way. You can use it to just remove the Global Silence, right? As long as he's not caught. I don't actually know if it affects the Bruling Summon or not. That's a mechanic question for the chat here. But if it doesn't, you can just have it dispel everyone else and just remove the Global Silence. So that could be a big deal.
That is actually very, very true. I'll have to try and keep my eyes on the Panda when the Global Silence comes out to see if it does affect them. So is it like, is it classed as like a hero, or is it? I guess it's just like, so like does Global Silence affect like the bear from Lone Druid? Because I imagine.
I swear I feel like me and you are functioning on the same wavelength. Because I was thinking about the bear as well, and I don't think it does. Like these are considered hero units, and they don't get affected by Global Silence. But I'm not sure. In the meantime, Bombi, he may have walked into a difficult spot.
Yeah. So everyone just saying hello. There is going to be the Cyclone that gets another connection onto Rapido, but he is a pretty tanky boy. He's going to take a bit of time, and potentially XERXIA could try and turn this around. Out comes the Terrorize, lands onto Fortress Soul, forcing away the Pudge, but still, they're trying to go on towards the Tusk right now. Flame and Lasso is there, but Rapido, he's so damn tanky. He takes a bit of time, able to get the snowball on towards the creeps, and it will allow him to actually disengage right now. If XERXIA can get out without losing any losses, It's going to be quite nice. Cyclone hold in place again. Oh, the hook with the disarm a little bit off the mark. But even still, Karma is now here. Wants to start plowing into Enryu. He's able to get the ult off at the very least. Chain Frost, though, doing some work in the backlines onto Rapido there. Fair few bounces getting done. But regardless, still no one is actually dropping. Just loads of spells being tossed out here and there. But everyone's still alive. And it looks like Neon, they're just going to back on out.
They do have global silence if XERXIA wants to go for this fight, and a lot of the big ultimates are down. No lasso and no oh, here we go. Ken, is he in trouble? Global comes out.
The global, they're gonna get the try and get the grab to Ken, but he just straight up TP's out, abandoning the rest of his team. Fortusoul also tried to go for it. There's no ways to stop it there once the BKBs are activated. Fortusoul actually getting the kill to Bombi whilst he was just TPing away. And JG trying to chase off to Enryu, but again that Storm Panda holding them back with the Cyclone. And it looks like he will be able to disengage. So again, it's just the supports that fall. But regardless, XERXIA forced them away from the area. And that will be Roshan #1 falling into their hands.
Yep, with the tag team up, it's not that hard to bring down. And oh, by the way, it does silence the Bruling. I was looking at Enryu. I saw the global silence come out. He couldn't use it on the summoned Storm Panda. So unfortunately for Neon, that's not gonna help them out.
Okay, well, you know, that's good to know. That is the those are the questions that need answering. Finding out all the little Dota knowledge we can, and that is yeah, that's definitely good information. Maybe even Enryu himself wasn't sure if that's how it works, and that's why he decided to try and go for this Axe. But on the JG, nice dodge there with the slight fist, and he's able to evade danger yet again. It seems like every single time Neon try and go for a kill, they just really can't find what they want.
Yeah, their lineup lacks, that significant melee damage, physical damage, and lacks great lockdown, right? Like, you have Lasso, which is good, Dismember, but Slarky can just purge it off, and they're not the easiest spells to land. Then you have the Sinister Gaze and Rubic Glaive. It's like, you got lockdown, but it doesn't feel like it's enough lockdown for an Ember Spirit, a Tusk, and a Slark. Especially with Global Silence on your team.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, bottom lane. That's lockdown. You don't need lockdown to bring down Dark Willow. You know, that hero has no way of escaping. It's the biggest oversight, honestly.
Karma just comes flying over it. We'll find Tsukimo, but already used both his leap charges. He will manage to get away. So yeah, that's something for Neon. It's not like the most high priority target in the world, but that is an extra +1 strength stack there for Fortune Soul. So he's, you got to look at the bright side of things. Anything you can get will help.
For sure, especially right now when they do have the Aegis. So when one of their heroes is down, you can expect them to be a little bit less active until Bombi is going to come up. So all these pickoffs matter. They really want to get the silencer though in the beginning of this fight. So we're seeing this global silence is just being super annoying for them. And I like where he's going. Again, I love this build with Jaja where you go for the Hurricane Pike and you go for like a power twist, and he's just like, you know what, guys, I'm starting to right click. Watch me now. Just right click them. He even went for the attack speed talent at level 10. That's alright. That's pretty bold, I gotta say, because the Arcane Curse is a little bit better. But alright, he really wants to right click. You just don't see this very often.
Yeah, it is fun when you can do that as a silencer, especially when you start off as a support. It obviously got the 12. It says 12 charges of the permanent stolen intelligence, but is that 12 times the 2 intelligence stolen, or is it just 12 intelligence? If you know what I mean. Not even too sure. Oh, you know what, actually, never mind, we're not going to be able to have time to do that. A fight is happening. Karma jumping forwards there, just poking and prodding. We'll have to decide to disengage, but the BKB's already popped out there from Ken, so I don't think anyone even want to try and take this fight. They do actually have the Cyclone grab on towards the Dark Willow, but XERXIA not choosing to abandon their support. Maybe want to try and take the fight themselves, but both teams will just disperse.
Okay, it's only 12 intelligence. It's like you steal 2 when you got 2, they lose 2. That's it. There's not like it's not like an SSG stack where it's like 3 agility per stack.
Yeah.
That's what you mean, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Because see, I told you, man, we're connected mentally somehow. But it is 12 intelligence. But we'll see if he wants to go for the shard, because then that becomes a lot more fun to steal with. When you take 4 feels like it really hurts.
Yeah, that could be very difficult to deal with. Oh, jump forwards there from Karma, just flying into the backlines as a Slark with Aegis should. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He feels relatively unkillable. I mean, even so, he's sat at 2,500 HP. Oh, looks like they are going to find Ken as well. I think they were following his current. He's led him straight towards the Agile Hero. BKB still on cooldown, and that is a dead Bat Rider. Gone for 50 seconds. this could be the chance that XERXIA now gets to maybe shove into a tier 2.
It's something that Neon should be grateful for, is that neither draft has good tower damage. Because even though I see Ken die for 4 seconds, I'm like, yeah, I'm not too worried for the buildings. Maybe they'll get a tier 2, but it's not like they're going to take tier 2, then it's like Leshrac, Death Prophet, and Shadow Shaman can take a tower the next 10 seconds after that. So it is a bit lucky for Neon. And look at it, it takes forever. It's a Slark, and he's hitting it. And oh, they're going to go for more, though.
He tried jumping in right now. Does get the leash on towards Enryu, but they don't want to commit on towards the Brewmaster. Obviously, you can always just pop his ultimate and disengage. So good awareness not to put all their eggs in one basket and try and bring him down. There will be a glyph used there for Neon Esports just to shove them off of this tower right now and give them a bit of a breathing room.
Dire's bottom tower
To be fair, I forgot they have a lich, right? So that makes the tower damage even more of a problem for XERXIA. Overall, they get a kill, and they do some work with the first Aegis, but it's not like a death blow for Neon. There's still a chance. Bombi, he might be generous again and give away his life.
Yeah, he managed to get the Shadow Realm off, but there's just so much AoE damage coming out, he cannot survive through it. Yeah, it's an easy peasy kill there onto the Dark Willow. Very unfortunate for them, but maybe he was like just trying to sit in that position to gank a potential like smoke move that Neon wanted to make. You never know.
In the meantime, though, with Roshan, Aegis is down. Neon, their chance to make something happen if they want to. Pudge, by the way, they do have a blink. That's one of the nice things for Neon, is that you can catch someone unaware. You jump in, you grab maybe anyone who's not a Slark, you get that fast kill, and like there's always an opening. There's always a chance. If you can catch someone out of position, or you make them out of position, you have a chance for a comeback. It's why Magnus was so popular at TI10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always got the way of just forcing people out of position. Yeah, get that quick kill, put things in your favor, so you have like a 4 versus 5, and more often than not, that does allow you to take a successful fight, unless you're just a million miles behind, and 4v5 still doesn't really matter, and they're able to do what they want. Yeah, Karma though now just completing a nullifier, so even if there's like a potential, 4-staff saves aren't going to work out. Probably going to stop people from trying to build in like an Aeon disc as well. Kind of pointless once you see a nullifier up online.
And the Frost Shield. I think that's the biggest one, right? You're hitting someone, Frost Shield comes out, you're like, nope, doesn't matter. And nice Dior coming out from Bombi, and there, Frost Shield, he jumps in, he wants to fight.
Jumping straight, they found both the supports inside of Neon. Well out of position right there. Envy is still to commit his ultimate right now. Meanwhile, the backlines, Fortune Soul's going to be able to bring down Bombi. Jar Jar was poking at the bear, trying to do what he wanted, but Fortune Soul popped the BKB, will try and walk himself away, just able to get the Blink Dagger off. It looks like now they're going to change targets though over towards Ken. Unfortunately, BKB, actually his BKB was off of cooldown, but he just didn't use it.
I saw as well. I was thinking, okay, he's just going to BKB and just going to walk away, but he decides it's not worth it. An interesting decision coming out from Ken, and he had a BKB. Yeah, we saw Fortune Soul just jump for the support, but he actually got control pretty well. I think it was that, yeah, it's the shard on the Dark Willow, so he got hit by the Bramble no matter what. And it's a very difficult situation for him to be in. Enryu sends up those illusion, the Panda summoning, it's gonna die. He's not gonna have that for 70 seconds. That's a bit sad to lose the Primal Companion like that.
Yeah, it is kind of annoying, but regardless, they just got plenty of ways at poking from afar, keeping the buildings up nice and safe, especially with the old Ice Spire picked up from Hated. I do quite like that ability. Like, I feel it's kind of underrated. You don't see, most of the time people will skip it out, but it can do a lot of work in teamfights.
When it came out, it was a lot worse. I remember when it came out, no one wanted it, but now you can cast Frost Shield. It takes something like 5 hero hits. That's a lot. You can even heal it with the Frost. Like it's pretty good. It gives you that nice +1 for the Chain Frost, which I feel is a lot of fun. Bottom lane, Sukimon, he's going to be +1 to his deaths right now, and yep, he's going to the grave. So yeah, I like it. Oh,
they spotted out Enryu as well. I think the Ice Shard passed through him. His TP just comes off cooldown, but the leap from Karma. Off the mark, and that actually allows them to get out. Wow, that is very, very lucky there for Enryu.
Oh god, if that landed, they would have lost 2 just now. And again, Neon, it's 8,000. It wasn't like it felt like 4,000 gold advantage just a second ago, but now it's not up to 8,000. Win percentage is reaching 91%. It's gonna take what's a little bit less than a miracle. It's not a miracle. Neon doesn't need a miracle to win it, but they need something very close to a miracle. What is it?
I think it's just luck. I think it's just They just actually need some good luck for a change. Every time they've tried taking a fight, the best that they can hope for is getting kills onto the supports, it seems. They were killing the Ember Spirit a lot. I should jump forward, they have got the Flame Lasso again on towards Bombi. It's another support kill, it's something. Meanwhile, actually, Rapido also poking on towards Enryu, gets hit by the hook, dragging back the Tusk. Out comes the Global Sun, so it looks like Sergio might try and commit for this fight right now. The Tusk's going to try and stay alive for as long as possible, where with the Snowball, Karma jumping on towards the Ken, force away the Bat Rider. And Forstaff's trying to make space for Rapido. Another punch up the air for Fortune Soul. Regardless, he does get brought down. Wicked 6-spree now actually for Fortune Soul. This guy's been having... He's been having a pretty good time. I feel like he's the only one on his team who's been having good fights lately.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were saying, right? You need something. You need more of that. Whatever that is, that's not a miracle. They need more of it with Karma. He wants to get the kill on Ken. Looks like he might be able to get it.
Jumping on towards it, but this time the Bat Rider does use the BKB, even with the Snowball trying to drag him out. Karma's all getting slowed in position. He actually will get brought down right now. The Slark can't tank through it all. Nice fight coming out here from Neon, trying to get the +1 here onto Jar Jar, who will go for the TP out. And he will successfully make it. Roshan is also only 20 seconds away. This could be a big opportunity here for Neon to actually start flipping the table on this game.
Something to be very scared about right now. You know, once this Roshan's up, it looks like Neon, they're not wise to it quite yet. They're pinging out the... Sorry, that's the ping from XERXIA. They might need to send something like a Bruling or whatever just to find out, because it's going to come up. This is second Rosh as well, so you get the nice shard upgrade if you can. But they're more interested in taking this top tier 2. If you can take the outpost, at which point it becomes a little bit safer to go for the Rosh fight.
And it does, which Ken has now just scouted out the fact that Roshan is up. And it looks like the call for Neon is like, yeah, fuck the tier 2 tower, don't care. Get into the Rosh pit, kill it as fast as possible. I mean, still 30 seconds without the Slark. And is there any information here for Zerg to know this is going on? I mean, they do actually spot Ken. Maybe that could be the inclination that they need to know that this is happening right now.
Slow though, look at how slow it is.
Yeah, this is not quick by any means right now. Might even be enough time for the Slark to respawn, but it doesn't look like XERXIA are all too interested in trying to force the issue. I mean, they are still hanging about by the mid lane area. Fire Remnant in the pit, so JG's got the information right now, and Neon, they have just back on out. They just have no roast damage at all. It's still on half HP. But they are going for now.
Yeah.
The smoke.
What?
See what they try and do with this.
When all your damage is magical and Roshan's got 50% magic resistance, it's not good. It's not good. Like, that's just how it is. Very unfortunate for them. They did force out the glyph top, so yeah, you know, they just couldn't capitalize on that victory. Oh, big jump in though.
Oh, they managed to get the lasso onto JG. There is going to be the global silence, trying to make the space. This Ember Spirit though is still pretty damn healthy, feeling comfortable. Fortune Soul jumping in, takes a lot of damage very quickly right now. Trying to focus on Takama, but he's still able to bring down the supports as well as Enryu into the backlines, trying to bring down the silencer, but it doesn't really matter. He's already used the global silence, so this isn't going to be that effective. It looks like Enryu will just lose his life for this one. Tsukimo also buying back. So this is not at all a good fight for Neon. I mean, Fortune Soul looks like he's maybe trying to go for a hook out on his teammate, but not going to work. Down goes the Brewmaster, dead for 60 seconds. And XERXIA moving themselves into the pit. But Fortune Soul, or Neon Esports in general, not just Fortune Soul, they know that there is no global silence. They feel like they can still take the fight. The hook does land on JG. There's no cancel this time round. The Ember Spirit getting pretty low, but he's still going to be able to disengage. His K-Frost bounces around. He's got to be careful he doesn't get hit by one of those. But it doesn't matter. The Aegis already into the hands of Karma. They got a +1 onto Hated as well. It was, if they managed to get that kill onto the Ember Spirit, it could have ended up turning around. But regardless, they lose another hero. Buyback was also forced out on the Brewmaster. It's just getting real rough for Neon.
That was a disaster. It's really no other way to put it, right? You lose two of your heroes buyback. You still lose Roshan. You still give away the shard. And for XERXIA, everything is looking super good for them right now. And that's what we talked about. They have the better lineup at taking down Roshan. They have the better lineup when it comes to scaling. And we are definitely in the late game. You know, it's 40 minutes in. Neon Esports, their best thing they can do is somehow get a decent hook on someone, try to kill them that way. But XERXIA, they're very careful. They know that, you know, going high ground can be a risk. They're not playing it. You know, they're not willing to throw their victory right now. Even though they are #1 the leaderboard and Neon desperately needs the points more, XERXIA is not going to give it to them.
No, that's it. Well, it's like you were saying a few days ago, where you're playing Dota it's all about making other people miserable and, you know, really pushing your lead. So even though, yeah, like you say, XERXIA, they pretty much are guaranteed to qualify going into the next stage of this tournament, they're not giving any space to Neon whatsoever.
You can't blame them, right? It's like, why would you ever play and try to lose or anything like that? It's just like, you know, they might make a mistake here, like they might get overconfident, and then but in the match it doesn't matter. They get overconfident, match that does matter, and suddenly you pick up these negative habits. So I respect XERXIA for playing it carefully. You know, they have the draft, they have everything in their control. Why take any risks when you don't need to?
Yeah, 100%. And still, Neon finally able to take down the tier 1 tower at the bot, but they do lose their tier 2 instead, and XERXIA just going straight up towards the high ground. Gonna start poking and prodding. There is going to be a few spells getting tossed out there from Ken, trying to delay this push as much as possible, but they got 2 catapults. They're going to be doing some work. Might be forced to use a glyph in a minute, because actually no, there's just so much long-range burst damage. His creeps do not last long whatsoever. And they were actually able to take down the tier 2 bot as well. Enryu making sure he was just supporting up the catapult, so you know they get something.
Yeah, plus they have the smashing bruling. He does. Wait, does he really deal 270 bonus damage every time he hits a building? That's kind of wild, actually. The demolish creep that he has. Enryu, and he might have been off a bit more than he can chew.
Yeah, he's overseas. So we'll actually be forced to use the ultimate to try and disengage, but the Broodings, they're actually all stuck in the trees right now. It's just the Strength Panda left. Can he actually get himself away? I think at this point he knows that he's probably dead. He just wants to waste as much time as possible. Unless he can get like an amazing Blink Dagger off as soon as the Brooding ends, which is about to. Is he quick on the fingers?
Oh, yes!
To get it off with the TP. Is there any cancel? The Brambles just barely miss him. And Enryu able to evade danger. I mean, still though, that's his ultimate on cooldown now for 85 seconds. Plenty of time for XERXIA to start, you know, forcing another fight. It looks like they will just force it onto Hayden. Bring down the Lich.
Hayden's like, hey, I saw Enryu did. Let me try. And he's like, no, you're a Lich. That's not your job. You can't do that. But Enryu wasting so much time means that the Aegis is only got about 75 seconds left. That's just a big deal when XERXIA tries to go high ground. It's like, oh, the Aegis is not going to be lasting so much. They might feel pressured to try to get something happen. Virtual Soul could get a good hook, and suddenly XERXIA could lose this big advantage. Oh, there you go, the hook.
Dragging back Karma. This is going to drop some right clicks onto Fortune Soul, and he will disengage. Oh. Meanwhile, at the bot lane, Ken, though, unfortunately, he gets caught, and he doesn't actually end up surviving very long. He is dead, gone for 80 seconds, does have a buyback available, and he may be forced to use it, otherwise this is going to be a set of barracks going right now. The glyph now been expended, but Karma just going to keep hitting the buildings. Obviously, still got 30 seconds on that Aegis, so he doesn't really care about getting hit. Another hook off the mark. Buildings now going to start getting beaten into, but they are just chucking out a lot of spells there onto Karma, trying to hold back this lava as long as possible. They actually popped the global. I mean, he had the Aegis. I don't think they really needed to expend that high value ultimate just for that, but regardless though, kickback onto Fortune, force him outside of the base. He does just food the BKB TP out though. He is going to avoid that one. Meanwhile, Karma jumping in aggressively, found Hayden. Enryu is their ultimate back on up right now, trying to find the opportunity to use it. But Chechi, he's being caught, dragged back in towards the base. He is down. Gem on the floor as well, but double buyback was expended there for Neon. And XERXIA just retreat. Oh, hook.
Hook. Here's another one.
It lands onto Bombi. He's going to force XERXIA to try and react into this. Terrorized landing onto 2, forcing the back. Karma jumping in very aggressive himself, focused onto Fortune Soul. He's a shredding apart this Pudge right now, able to get the ultimate, but get quickly cancelled out. And he is gone. 90 seconds. Buyback already forced out. JG trying to get the +1 on towards the Lich. Dive back from him. But obviously, the Ember Spirit's also brought back for this engagement. Hook. Nearly gets the land. Karma jumping in very aggressively. Going to start trying to focus back onto the buildings, but Rapido getting another kickback there onto Ken, forcing out the BKB, punches him up into the sky. Regardless, all of these BKBs that are getting used
Here we
up.
go.
Hook lands back onto Karma, dragging him in towards the base. The Pudge though, no BKBs. Got to be very, very careful. He gets brought down. Enryu into real danger. No Mud's work with the Brambles. It lands onto Fortune Soul as well. The Pudge is gone. 4 people, no buyback, and that is GG. Neon Esports tapped out of this first game of the best of 2.
mean, they were able to hold the base for quite some time because there was just no damage coming up from XERXIA sorry, no building damage on them. But in the end, this massive gold advantage is going to be it's going to be too much for Neon to overcome. Now their best hope is to win the next game and tie up with eHome to have a chance to make it to the playoffs. But overall, Neon Esports, a valiant effort. But when you have a draft like this draft that just doesn't do tower damage, doesn't do physical damage, doesn't do Roshan damage, you're gonna have this issue at some point or another. The other team, it's not like XERXIA scales amazingly well, right? Ember Spirit and Slark, not exactly ultra high damage cores late game, but certainly better than a Bat Rider and a Punch.
Yeah, that is true, and it definitely ended up showing itself that game. I guess it's like, I think they expected their early game to go a bit better, and it did. Like, the Slark was sort of happy in the top lane. They actually got a couple of kills to start, so that really set up his game. Meanwhile, Fortune Soul, he was sort of just trading CS versus the Tusk. Didn't really gain a dominant lead, and yeah, as a result, could start building up this Flesh Eat Stacks, and never really became that big, scary sort of end-game boss that you normally see a lot of carry pudges turn into. So how do you think Neon Esports have got to respond going into the second game? Like, what have they got to change up to try and get this last victory?
I think again, you need just a little bit more damage, because I did think the mid lane was good, right? You had Ken defeating JG early on. Remember he had to die back at some point, so you can keep on with that, but you need a little bit more damage. Either it's gonna have to come from the offlane, or it's gonna have to come from your carry, and it's gotta be a different type of damage. You can't just be all magic. Like, that's the problem. It's that damage is just all magical. So I would switch something in that department. Try to figure out something, get something better. Whether it's a Legion Commander offlane or anything like that gives you a bit of damage, and that's about it. I do think that Neon they played well. It's just a bit of a drafting issue.
Yeah, I won't agree. Just a little. Maybe they didn't even realize until they picked up that last second pudge, and they were like, "Oh wait, guys, we've only got magic. Oh dear." And yeah, they just unfortunately put all their eggs in that one little magic damage basket, and it did not end up panning out whatsoever. But that obviously is just game number one, guys. We've got one more match to come, and we will see if Neon will be able to get this last point, which could save their whole tournament share. But only time will tell. So do stick around, guys. We'll be back in 10 minutes for another game. So see you then.